Good morning, Bella Vista. I'm back today with Mayor Flynn. Welcome.
Good morning.
Yeah.
It's great to be here.
Well, and everybody's anxious to see what's going on in the city. So why don't we just jump right in? Is that okay with you?
Sure.
All
that
right.
sounds good.
So we have a new ladder truck, right?
Yeah. It just actually was delivered yesterday. It's been on order for more than a year, and it normally does take a long time for those things. They're very much custom, and it's one of the few times I saw the fire chief really excited. He's usually pretty low-key.
Yes.
He's pretty fired up.
Yeah.
We now will have two ladder trucks. We'll have one at fire station number 1 and one at fire station number 4. And the reason for that location is that's where all the commercial is. You know, fire station number 1's right there along 71, and number 4 is on 279. So they're trying to locate them strategically. But I think it's really going to be a good upgrade for our safety to have two of them. So.
And you know, I expect to probably see that ladder truck out there at some of the events you have with the police and the EMTs and people like that in future, because little kids like to look at those ladder trucks as well.
Yeah, he mentioned the July 4 parade.
Yeah.
He's planning to have it out for that. So that would be a good event.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting stuff, especially waiting as long as you've had to wait for that truck.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in connection with that, how are we coming on the tower, the training tower?
Yeah, they have been working on the fire training tower, and that consists of a building and also the training tower. And the building's coming along really well. And I found out the other day that training tower itself is going to be delivered in August. And it takes 3 months to install. So it looks like we are going to hit our goal of being completed in December 2023, or maybe even a little bit sooner.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Another long-awaited project.
Yeah.
So, and just as a refresher, because we've got an awful lot of new residents, that will give the city the ability to keep our firemen here rather than sending them away for, like, everybody goes to Springdale or things like that.
Yeah, it actually affects our safety rating. You know, we have an ISO rating of 4 now, and they basically go from 1 to 10, and the lower the number, the better. So we've really improved it the last few years, and that actually affects people's insurance rates with some insurance companies.
That's
and more importantly, makes people safer. So yeah, the idea of having the training tower in your own city, the rating people like that, because then your fire people are still available even when they're training in case there's some type of emergency.
Yeah, and I think in the past, maybe it's still on the agenda, that we might be able to offer those services to some of the smaller towns around to train?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that a possibility?
Yeah, there's a little more, I guess I'd call it cross-pollination than people realize. For instance, our fire department is contracted with Walmart to protect the Walmart facilities up in Jane across the border. Yeah, because you have to have, you know, with a large facility like that, you need to have a kind of a top grade fire department to be able to.
And that's us, right?
Yeah.
The top grade?
Yeah. As opposed to, nothing against Missouri, but it's a little more rural across the border, and yeah, they're not quite as sophisticated. But there's a lot of help people give each other on different occasions. So,
With the police as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole operation. We're not isolated.
Someone mentioned that the other day, that when that man was missing and there was a search for him, you know, there's people here from Benton County Rescue and from Highfill Fire Department, from Crawford County. There's a lot of outside people come in and help, which is kind of nice to see the cooperation.
Absolutely,
So, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, well, the street department's been kind of busy too.
Yeah. Yeah, they have quite a few things going on. That sand and salt storage facility is being put in at the old fire station on Glasgow, the one that the fire department vacated, and that's almost completed. The only thing left is they're going to put a new roof on it. but they've painted it to match the new fire station, which is across the street. And then now we'll have sand and salt. We have some at the street department, and there's some on the east side over by the old stump dump. And then we'll have this third location on Glasgow. So it's more convenient and makes them more able to treat the roads quickly, you know, when we have snow and ice and that kind of thing. So,
We usually buy all that early in the year, don't we? So we're ready?
yeah. And it's interesting, actually, that's an environmental requirement that the EPA has put in, that you have to have a sand and salt storage facility. Used to be people would just, you know, located on the ground, not covered. And some of it would seep into the ground. That's the reason for the environmental rule.
Oh.
So it strikes me, actually, it's in your best interest anyway, because you don't want your product seeping into the ground, right? You want to use it.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's a good thing all the way around.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, well, there's always a lot of talk about roads and repairs and all that. So you want to enlighten everybody on, I know you're making a huge effort. I know you are.
Yeah. So, well, you know, every year we go out and we pave some streets and slurry some streets and have a list figuring out what we're going to do. And the slurry is going to start this year. The contractor's coming in on June 26th, and the paving is going to start in July 10. So we'll have it, it'll probably be completed. It usually just takes them a month or two once they get out. You know, that the contractors cover a bunch of different cities. So that's going to get going. And the other thing that's happening is at the street department, they are building a car wash, and that's going to be done this year. Now, that's just for city vehicles.
Yes.
And it's not an automatic. It's one of those handheld ones, because the vehicles vary so much in size and whatnot, you know. But I think that's going to come in handy to have that so convenient. So.
Well, and that's another environmental thing. I know that there has to be certain rules and regulations around washing vehicles, correct? So that's been coming for a while. So,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
all
right.
these things are making their way forward.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things happening at once, which is a good thing.
So let's back up a minute. So just to help me, but also help other people who don't get it. I like to ask questions that other people might be afraid to ask or not able to ask. But okay, so slurry is what? The first product that goes down?
Well, it's actually a preservative that you put on roads to make them last longer, and it's less expensive than paving. So usually we pave certain roads and then slurry others.
Oh, so it's not a two-step process.
Yeah, that's correct. So we end up having, well, this year, for instance, we're paving around 9 or 10 miles of roads, and we're slurrying maybe 35 miles. So you always end up doing more slurry than paving because it's more reasonable. But one thing, we've been doing slurry for a while, but one thing happened interesting the last couple of years. The cost of paving went up so much that more and more people have been using slurry, and the demand went up. So you have to really sign up pretty early with the slurry contractors to make sure you get on the list.
Yeah.
So.
And the slurry is that blacktop looking, that's what that is?
Yeah. So it kind of looks like your road's been paved, but really it's just, you know, preserving the existing pavement, hopefully for a longer time.
So they do that first, and then they go back and put the lines in later?
Yeah, that's another thing they do out of the same budget is the striping. And it's surprising how much commentary I get on that. People will come up to me when a road's been striped. You know, they'll have the white stripes on the side and, of course, the yellow in the center. And it helps people so much at night.
It does.
Because our roads are somewhat dark in places and also curvy. So.
No, I think it's great. It's always nice when you come back to Bella Vista from somewhere else and it's dark.
Yeah.
You know exactly how to get home.
Yeah.
It does. It helps a lot. Okay. So, you know, I think you had a really good work session on Monday night for the council. And that's coming up. The actual monthly city council meeting is next Monday evening,
right,
correct?
June 26th, yeah.
And, you know, you and I both, I believe, have encouraged people to come join us and see what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Rather than asking Facebook, it's easier to ask the councilman directly or
Right.
listen to see what's going on.
Yeah, or you can watch it on community television.
You can.
I know it's on YouTube, usually the day after or so.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Little plug. Appreciate it. Also, I noticed that it looks like some of the IT solutions are beginning to happen. The sound was really good the other night.
Yeah, we don't have the new sound system in yet, but yeah, IT has made a lot of progress on the new building, and yeah, a lot of things are falling into place. But I've been told on the brand new sound system it'll be till August till it gets in. You know, it's a typical supply chain thing. You have 90% of the parts, but if there's one or two crucial parts that aren't here yet, then you can't go forward. So.
It looks like, just from sitting in the audience, that there will probably be 2 TV screens there too for people to see.
Yeah.
That's what that
yeah.
looks like.
Yeah.
So we're getting kind of uptown.
And that'll help when you have exhibits and whatnot too. They'll be able to put them up there, you know, maps or whatever you know, the subject matter is.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that'll be a big plus.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, in the back of the courtroom, I've noticed that there are those local artists, the photography that's going on back there. Do you know what that's all about?
Oh, on the wall, you
On the
mean,
walls
or-
in the back of the courthouse.
Yeah, yeah. They are always looking for, you know, art that can be displayed and things like that. And there's going to be more things added to the police building, actually on the interior. I was talking to the police chief, and he has some concepts about having photographs of, you know, police doing various things and whatnot, putting those on, kind of consistent with the theme.
Yes. And the bronze statue is making its way.
Yeah,
I think the
yeah.
dog is finished.
Yeah.
And then it won't be, I don't know when, but there will be the big bronze statue out front.
Yeah, they're working on the patina. The folks that are helping us from the Arts Council have done a great job of being very particular and making sure they do things exactly
The
right.
color is exactly right.
Yeah, so if people saw and these folks are volunteers, yeah, well, as you know, being in the Arts Council, but if people saw the effort that was put into it, I think they'd be impressed. So.
There's also Lady Liberty, the Blind Lady of Justice, I
Yeah.
think, a smaller one that's
Yeah,
going
I
to
think
go in
it's
there.
around 18 inches or so, and it's going to be mounted there. So that's kind of because of the court being there. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, something for the police and something for the court side of it. So
There
yeah.
you go. Well, I also know that you've been doing a little bit of reorganization within the city to kind of put things change.
Yeah.
So what's going on there? What have you done?
Yeah, we changed our departments around a little bit. We took code enforcement and moved it from community development and put it in the police department. And then the building inspectors have been moved from community development, and they're being put under the fire department. And a lot of people have the building inspectors under the fire department. It's become a more and more common trend. It's not that fire is the only thing you're worried about, but there's a lot of similarity between the inspections that are done by the fire department and what a building inspector would do. But so that's one change we're making. In the code enforcement, I'm really pleased with that concept because, you know, they can run everything through the dispatchers that way, and also keep better track of it, and you know, have a record of what went on and whatnot. So I feel really good about those changes. But community development's still an important department, and in fact, looks like it's poised to grow. We're working on hiring our first city engineer, and you know, there's so much work that we've been using outside engineers, but they're so busy, sometimes it's hard to get the timely response you need. And so, you know, with the building going on and whatnot, I see the community development continuing to be an important area. So.
Well, Taylor has recently been promoted to a manager in that slot, and I think she's doing a bang-up job.
Yeah, yeah.
And the staff. There's more than Taylor, of course, but I'm also really pleased, and I hope you are, I know you are, that the city and the POA and the ACC in particular, but also some of the townhome associations. You know, sometimes there's not just three-legged stools of government. Sometimes when you get that townhome association in there, but there seems to be, not that there wasn't in the past, but a lot more collaboration and working together to maybe get the rules of each to all agree.
Yeah.
Because in some cases they don't, you
Yeah.
know, with the city and the ACC. So you're making progress there too, I think.
Yeah, recently different constituencies have been meeting, and yeah, I think it's really encouraging the degree of coordination that's going on and collaboration, because I think that's ultimately that's going to help the people of
Totally.
Bella Vista.
Totally.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, instead of having to go to 3 or 4 different places, to kind of have it consolidated. So,
Yeah.
So we've talked about this a little bit before, but when will the work begin on what's now City Hall? I know City Hall's staying there, but you're working on building it out for the firemen because the police have moved out. Is that finished?
Oh, yeah, the police have moved out, and now they're going to start. No, there's quite a bit of work to be done. Actually, first thing they're going to do is rehab the portion where the firemen are, where the police were. We're going to fix that up for the firemen to live in, the firemen at Fire Station Number 1. And even that's going to go into 2024.
Okay.
It's a pretty big job, and they're going to put offices, the new offices for the fire chief and some of the top fire personnel right out front of that. So they're going to move forward a little on the same location, but be out front a little more. And then ultimately, yeah, they're going to fix up where City Hall is a little bit. And
You won't have a new home. You'll just have a refreshed home.
yeah,
Is that right?
Yeah. And ultimately, they're going to have 5 bays instead of 3.
Oh.
And the new bays are going to be higher. And, you know, things have changed over the years. The standard bay height now is 14 feet. It used to be 12 feet. In fact, when the fire chief got this new fire truck and backed it in, of course, he measured everything, made sure everything was okay, but it cleared by about 2 inches.
Oh, no.
So,
All right.
but so the new bays not only will be higher and longer, so they'll have 5 bays instead of 3 there, but you can drive around and drive straight in, not have to back in, which is the way all the new fire departments are. So,
Exactly.
so.
And I think even the sand and the place that used to be a fire department, fire station, you've even done some work on that to where the trucks can drive through
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So we're just upgrading to this century is what we're doing.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
So,
good stuff. Okay, so we've got some events coming up, but let's see. Oh, can we talk a little bit about the new STR law, the short-term rental? Can we upgrade?
yeah, I
people on
just
that?
thought I'd mention that the short-term rental law is going into effect on Saturday or on Tuesday, June 27, and you know, it's been in place for a while, but that's the day it actually kicks in. And so far, a little bit over 200 people have applied. Some of them have gotten their permit, and some are in process. These are the STR owners, short-term rental owners. And so there's still a couple hundred more to go. So
Okay.
that's why I thought I might want to give people a heads up that that's coming, so they, you know, need to get registered. So.
Well, and I notice on your webpage that right down in the corner, there's something about the short-term rentals and how to get there and do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your
Yeah.
website's looking much better too.
Yeah.
It really
yeah.
is.
Yeah, it's one of those things you really have to work on over time, and our communications director, Cassie Lapp, works on that, and I think it's really been improved. You can get a lot of information on there.
That's
So,
right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Okay, so you've got some upcoming events.
Yeah, I listed a few there. I actually neglected to mention one, which I'll mention. today is June 21, and it's the longest day. And so they're having a charity golf tournament. And if you play on any, just sign up and play on any golf course in Bella Vista, the money goes to 5 charities, the greens fees. And by the time this is shown, that probably will have passed. But the reason I wanted to mention it is they're having a silent auction over at Bella Vista Country Club, and the things will be there for 3 or 4 days. So I believe they'll be there
Till Saturday?
through Saturday. So they have a lot of nice things, and people might want to stop by there and see if all the money goes to charity. So,
Well, thank you for that plug, because as soon as I leave the station today, I'm going to go over there and work the silent auction.
oh, are you?
Yes,
Good.
yes. And you're right. There's some
Yeah.
incredibly fun things
Yeah.
going on. You know, Tom Judson always makes, he does incredible woodwork and builds tables and things.
Yeah.
So he's got another piece that's going up for auction, just like always. And then there's all kinds of really fun
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. Linda and I got a piece Tom Judson did a few years ago. It was kind of a wood cheese tray. It's very elaborate and special wood, and
Yeah.
it's really pretty impressive. And last year we got probably my favorite thing. It was a wood carving that was a guy and a girl golfer. So you can hang on the wall, and it's pretty elaborate also.
So what's your superpower,
Yeah.
Mayor Flynn? What's your superpower other than just being mayor? Do you have hidden talents?
Yeah, well, I think I'll stick with just being mayor.
Oh,
I
okay,
guess.
okay.
So, anyway.
Well, that makes sense. Also, though, on Saturday, you're doing another proclamation, I think.
Yeah, there's this Saturday, June 24, is Ham Radio Days, and they're having a demonstration for quite a few hours, actually. I'm going to be there at 12:30 to do a proclamation, but it's at the Metfield Skills Park, which is, the side where there's on Commonwealth, there's a pavilion there, for picnics, and there's I guess it's the reason they call it the Skills Park, is they've got that bike, elaborate bike thing that you can practice on, which is very popular. Every time I live near there, and every time I drive by there, there's kids out there riding around on it and whatnot. So
Yeah,
it's good
yeah.
to see them out exercising.
Yeah, that's going to be an all-day event. I mean, after you make the proclamation, it's going to go on into
Yeah.
the evening,
Yeah.
and there'll be demonstrations on, so people can learn all
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, it's amazing. Bella Vista's club has about 200 members. I guess it's the biggest ham radio club in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And it's so well run. I notice there's a lot of people from Northwest Arkansas live in other cities belong to our club because it's such a good club.
Well, and one of our camera guys out there, Mr. Bob, wherever he is, I can't see. There he is, right over there.
Yeah.
Is a member of that group, and he's all excited about it. And
Yeah.
I think we may even take a crew out there and try to get some of it recorded.
Yeah, that's
Because
a
I mean,
good idea.
who knew?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
all kinds of things here that happen that we're yet discovering.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot going on. It's actually that same day, early in the morning, I think 7:30 a.m., they're having a kids triathlon over at Lake Avalon. And but there's things like that going on all the time, in the summer especially. I mean, it's really impressive, all the different things are going on.
That's it.
So, yeah.
Well, and then we've got the fireworks coming up.
Yeah, that is one of the most popular things probably we do. Maybe the most popular in the city. July 3 in the evening, of course, when it gets dark, or fireworks shot off at Loch Lomond Dam. And then on July 4, there's a parade at, I believe it's at 9 a.m. at the usual location, Sugar Creek.
By Allen's,
Yeah,
in case.
shopping center.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that always brings a good crowd too. So
It does. It
it's
does.
a fun time.
We'll talk about the budget here just in a minute, but let's give a real quick recap on the bridges, because that seems to be something that people are like, when's it going to be finished?
Yeah, yeah, I've gotten some updated information on that. The Mercy Way Bridge is supposed to be completed August 7th, and I think they're tracking to be right around there. And that's the one that the city's been doing. Of course, we got a lot of grants and whatnot from the government and Walton Foundation. And but what I get asked about most are the bridges
state?
on Lancashire, which are being done by the state.
Yeah.
And we did ask them recently for an update, and they said that the Tanyard Creek Bridge would be done this summer. So it's pretty far along, and that's the one really where people are driving, around it on kind of a curved detour.
That's the fanciest curved detour I've ever seen in my life.
It should have been a clue that this was going to take a while when they made paved the detour so nicely.
That's it.
And then the other one is the bridge over Little Sugar Creek, and that's closer to 71.
Yeah.
And that is they're saying will be completed in late spring or early summer of 2024. So they've got quite a ways to go there. But you can kind of see where the new bridge is going to be. It's right next to the old one. And a lot of people, they've said, oh, it's going to take out the S-curve in the road there. And it does take, it's still going to be a bit of a curve, looks like to me. But it does take a bit of it out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, something else to look forward to.
Yeah, that's right. There's always something going on or in process.
So how are we doing financially?
I feel real good about our finances. We get the reports always a little bit behind because of the sales tax reporting. But through April 30, our operating revenue was $7.7 million, and that was 17% over budget. So city tax was up, county tax was up even more, and the biggest item that was up actually was property tax. And I think some of that is the new new people coming. There's always a lag in that because of the way taxes are paid in Arkansas. But I think some of the new construction is starting to kick in a bit there.
Okay, good.
It was a good increase. And the other good news is on the operating expenses. So the operating revenue is $7.7 million, and the expenses were $5.6 million. And that's 11% under budget. So I feel good about that. We're still able to control our expenses. So you might say, hey, that's 4 months. If you took in $7 million, you only spent $5, sounds like you have too much money. But all these capital expenditure things we're talking about, that's why it's important to keep our finances on the straight and narrow, because there's so much going on capital expenditure wise.
But a lot of it's timing, when those expenses hit.
Yeah.
But it's good news about it's good news for the city. I don't know about for us, for the taxes. But anyway, thank you. That helps a bunch. There's one other thing that I'd like to mention that got kind of started or reminded us all of the other night at the work session. Mm-hmm. And we are a Monarch City.
Yeah, Monarch City.
Tell us about that, because you did something. You renewed a pledge of some sort, or? Yeah,
we became a Monarch City, I want to say at least a couple of years ago, and we're also a Tree City USA, and this is Monarch City USA. And the idea is that we do certain things to promote butterflies, and one of the big ones is to plant milkweed, but also pollinator plants in general.
Right.
And I know you were excited about this at City Council the other day. Taylor Robertson from CDS brought up the issue of pollinator gardens. And we're looking at that very strongly as far as allowing people to do it in their yards, Mm-hmm. And that's an example of the things we're coordinating up with the ACC, make sure, that we're within everybody's guidelines and whatnot.
It doesn't mean you don't have to mow your grass.
Yeah.
It just means that we're protecting some pollinators.
Right. You can have an area, garden type area, and have pollinators. We want to encourage that. Okay. And some of the people who are oriented toward plants know a lot. Master gardeners, I guess.
And master naturalists.
Yeah, have mentioned to me about mowing along the roadsides, that sometimes there's pollinator gardens there, and can we adjust our situation to try and preserve some of those. And that's something we're going to look in very strongly, because one thing people have mentioned to me since there's been so much building, they said, gee, I noticed less wildlife than I used to. So I think to the extent we can have areas and keep them wild, and it would encourage the wildlife and maybe try to counterbalance. It's only natural when you have more construction, they're going to lose some habitat. But there may be places we can have some habitat.
That's
And
right.
I've
That's
talked
right.
to the street department about it, and they pointed out the issue, on corners and stuff about sight lines.
Yes.
So we need to be safe about it. But I think there's ways that we could, have some pollinator gardens and maybe have to mow a little less. So it could be a win-win.
Cool. All right, well, I think we're out of time for today, but I'm actually, somebody is really trying really hard to get a hold of me here. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
But at any rate, we'll be back with you again next month, Bella Vista. And in the meantime, Mayor Flynn, thank you so much for being with me. And you all come to the City Council meeting next Monday.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it.
Take care.
Appreciate it.